Insufficient sleep can undermine your dietary efforts to reduce adiposity. During 14 days of calorie restriction, taking two groups, one sleeping 8.5 and one sleeping 5.5 hours per night, they lose essentially the exact same amount of weight, and the group getting 5.5 hours of sleep may actually lose a little bit more weight. But as you can see, the majority of their weight comes from lean mass. And despite actually losing more weight, the group that sleeps 5.5 hours actually loses less fat mass than the group that sleeps 8.5, which is depicted by the white. So people ask, can I simply just sleep in on the weekends? Unfortunately, this study took a group of people and had them reduce their sleep by about an hour every day for 5 days a week. But on the other 2 days, they were allowed to sleep as much as they want. And on average, they actually slept an extra hour every day. Essentially, on the sleep-restricted days in red, they slept less than the control group. But on the ad libitum days, they actually slept about an hour more than the control group. So despite missing an hour of sleep for 5 days during the week, they only actually lost about 2 hours and 40 minutes of sleep in the grand scheme of things, because they spent extra time in bed for 2 days during the week. Once again, these groups lost the exact same amount of fat because both groups were in a caloric deficit. However, the group that got normal sleep every day during the week lost about 80% of their weight from fat and about 20% of their weight from lean mass. But the group that was restricted on some days and could sleep as long as they wanted on others lost about 84% of their total weight from lean body mass and only about 16% of their total weight loss from fat. So they actually lost far less fat and far more muscle mass. So in the grand scheme of things, having a consistent sleep schedule in which you can get about 7 hours to 9 hours of sleep every single night will be the most advantageous, not for weight loss, but for fat loss. In the grand scheme of things, if you're eating in a caloric deficit, you'll lose the same amount of weight. But things like sleep, food, and exercise all dictate the composition of the weight that you lose. And these two studies make it evident that poor sleep habits can reduce the amount that you lose from fat and increase the amount of lean muscle mass you lose. With that being said, if you would like an individualized approach to your nutrition and lifestyle to optimize your health, energy, and body composition, send me a DM to sign up for coaching.